In a world where legends rise and fall with every punch, where the roar of the crowd fades, but the stories live on. This is where those stories are told. This is Talkin Boxing with Billy C. From the blood, the sweat, and the glory, to the controversies, comebacks, and knockouts, we go behind the ring, no fluff, no hype, and definitely no BS. Just the truth behind the fight game. And we've been doing it for over 2 decades. A podcast pioneer, now a Hall of Famer.
Great. What's that ego gonna be like?
And next, the comeback kid.
Wait, isn't he like 90 or something?
Shut up, he'll hear you. The reigning, defending, undisputed, heavyweight champion of boxing broadcasting. It's Talkin Boxing with Billy C. And it's on now.
But so Gerry, you know, one of the things that you asked me recently was what I thought the state of boxing was in. Well, I'm going to turn it over. What do you think the state of boxing is?
You know, I think that we miss it here in America. We lost ABC, CBS, and NBC. And so a lot of the kids that were kind of poor, because fighters are mostly poor, they would have taken to boxing, watching it on Saturdays and Sundays. They drifted away. And plus, you know, you got the phones. There's so many distractions, and so it's taking place elsewhere. But, you know, this last DAZN and this last company that came in with the Sheik over there, they're doing a pretty good job. It's taking a little while.
Sheik.
No.
Yeah,
he's a Sheik.
It's taking a while.
He's excellent.
To know them. His excellence, yeah. And he's doing a great job. And I wish I was fighting in these times, getting that 10, 15, $20 million a pop.
Well, you can make. Everybody's making comebacks. You never know. Hey, do you think Gerry's point? There's not as many gyms available either.
There's fewer gyms. The networks have gone away. All streaming services. People still don't know what streaming services are.
But Randy, my point was, Gerry was saying that there's not as much kids, that they're doing other things. And my question was,
that's true.
You know, if there were more gyms, do you think they would migrate inside?
I think it has to be on television. You know, it has to be seen so the kids can watch it and then get interested in this style of this person or the quality of the man.
Yeah.
And then you take it from there, and then it grows. But it's been hurting us.
Randy,
here.
you know what else they could do? Sit and have lunch, and he's training the waitress that was waiting on us today. You know, showing her how to throw jabs and everything else.
That's so good.
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm surprised when you met Jasmine Artiga before. I told her first thing Gerry's going to do, he's going to let me see your jab.
No. She's too strong for me. Where is she at? Jasmine, she's too strong for me.
So you think really that the aside from that, aside from the sets of eyes on the sport, how do you think the sport in general, the quality of fighters?
Say that someone's going to show their face. It's going to be not another Muhammad Ali, but somebody magical. And then there's going to be a second person. Then the Olympics is going to grow again. It just comes and goes. And you got to, it's disappointing for us to get used to it. But once you get used to it, they have some great fights on. You know, over there they're putting the best on. You know, we're seeing the best fights.
I think that that face. I think boxing doesn't give fighters enough time to be that face anymore.
But
because they're not.
That's true.
It comes and goes.
But my point is that sometimes the road to a championship really doesn't make the fighter popular. A lot of times the fights make the fighter popular.
Right.
And there's a lack of those fights. So how could there be that one face?
But you got to give them time. And then America will see it again, and we'll get some great fighters here. And besides, America's got everybody here, so we can start to get magic again. There's magic out there. There's people that need this. And obviously the fans.
Well, I think the best heavyweight in the world right now is that 21-year-old kid out of England, Moses Itauma.
Unbelievable.
I think the next year he's going to be the big name in boxing.
He's got like bricks in both hands. That kid.
Okay. Well, okay. Moses Atuma. I agree that he is the future of the heavyweight division. But what about where people are putting him right now? Where a guy that he's fought.
They're rushing him.
No. I'm talking about claiming how great he is now when really he's only fought 2 fighters.
Dillian White.
And that was kind of a fluky fight.
First round.
Yeah. And then the last fight against Franklin, who all his wins are against fighters with losing records.
Listen, Billy, let me tell you something. He was hitting the guys not even solid and putting them out. So as he gets better, and those guys over there, they're sparring with all the top guys, so they're developing. Fury fights over there. He brings all the guys into camp.
Well, his father's training him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, I don't think so.
No.
But anyway, boxing is going to be strong always.
But let me remind you, Moses E. Thomas had 14 fights.
That's my point.
When Mike Tyson had 14 fights and knocking everybody out, just like Moses Itama, people were saying, this Tyson kid is unbelievable. And they were the same age. It's like eye candy. We know the sport. We see it. And we have a feeling that this Moses Itama is for real.
I agree.
So I like what you're saying, but look at the lightweights. Look at the super middleweights. Look at the light heavyweights. We got tons of great fighters here today. That we're learning about them. We're becoming interested in them. They're showing, we're watching them perform and get better on a regular basis. And they're paying them fair money.
No, I think the pool of fighters is decent, and I think that the more they fight each other, the better it will be for everybody. They shouldn't be afraid to
It takes a while to get
But back to Ituma, do you think he's ready for a fighter like a Daniel Dubois or a Usyk who he keeps calling out?
Personally, I don't.
Right. I do think that the fight against Hrgovic is the best fight for him.
It can't be a better fight.
He's slow. No offense to him, but
Right.
Ituma could look good against him, and I think
We'll
that kid can
see
go
how
some
he
rounds.
looks. Yeah.
How dare you tell that guy he's slow, he moves slow. Listen, these
but
guys
listen.
are great fighters. And that kid is good. It's a special guy.
No, I'm talking about Hrgovic
Yeah, I know.
fighting Ituma.
Okay.
Hrgovic's
More experience.
He's
but
not
in the
fleet of
gym.
foot.
He's in the gym all the time with top guys.
And he would be a great test for Ituma.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it would be an easy fight for Ituma.
I think it will be.
You think it would be an
will.
easy fight for him?
I think he's going to knock him out.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Well,
No, I mean eventually in the
Fight.
fight. It's
Yeah.
not going to be an
Well,
easy fight.
Let's love that.
What do you want to throw some money on it, Jerry? Is that what you're saying?
Let's love that if that's what happens. We
No.
need those fights.
No, I know.
We
Yeah.
need those magic fights. Maybe there'll be a rematch. I don't know why I never got a rematch with Holmes back in those days. That merited a rematch.
No doubt.
And it was shown in 150 countries, but it didn't happen back then.
It's never too late.
There you go. Yeah. I was telling you. But
You'd have it at Caesar's Palace.
Listen.
The geezers at Caesar's.
hey, watch it, bro.
Anyway.
Anyway.
But you're right. I think we do have some light at the end of the tunnel with some of the young fighters.
But you're talking only the heavyweights.
I know, like you
What
said.
about your guy anyway?
No, I think the lower weights are even more filled.
All right, do we love anyway? I mean,
Anyway, there's so many.
I wanna
What about-
move to
who's the
Japan
other
just to
kid's
watch
gonna
him
move
over-
up to fight anyway.
Bam Rodriguez.
Bam Rodriguez, what a
Come
great
on.
fight.
Yeah.
Love it. No, love it.
Well,
Can't
it's gotta
wait.
pick up a little bit.
It
but-
better hurry up. But anyways, he's no spring chicken anymore.
Oh, stop. What is he?
30
25?
No,
he's
30
34.
33, 34.
Yeah. And he's been in some tough fights.
But that kid, Bam, makes it look easy.
Love him.
Looks
We'll
easy.
see.
Yeah.
Because he's fighting like this weekend, I think, for the or next weekend.
Next weekend.
Next
Yeah.
weekend for the bantamweight championship
Yeah.
against Antonio
I
Vargas.
Yeah.
I want to say
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here with all the fans and all the people, the support that they're showing to boxing, and just giving their love to these guys who deserve it.
No, I listen. The Florida Boxing Hall of Fame is, in my opinion, the best. Well, aside from the International
Boxing
Boxing,
is hard.
They do a great job here.
and there's none like it. And Randy, you were here last year.
Yeah.
You know how it is. This year you're getting inducted. I mean, I know you've been inducted in all those other
Stop
ones.
blushing. What are you
How
blushing
do you
for?
feel about getting into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame?
It's an honor, especially in a state where I have announced so many fights on the USA Network. Did Aaron Pryor's only loss. I announced it with a young, skinny Harold Letterman. I mean, I was ringside doing some commentary on the Aaron Pryor-Alexis Aguayo fight back in 1982. This place is my other boxing home.
Do you know what I got to put up with? I'm on the radio with him 2 hours twice a week, and he's always going like this.
Show my ring.
Right.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
You know,
Anyway,
That's
so the thing is that, listen,
he's
we love
Joe
boxing.
Montana now.
You love boxing. We got to keep these people, we have to protect the struggling ones, too, that we don't do. We have to help them along the way. We got to find a way. I was talking today about that. It's over. I'm sorry. Somebody else is on the line now. Some new kids coming up, and they get forgotten about. And there's a period of time when you feel rejected. And I did too, but then I saved my money. But these other guys, they don't have that luxury.
Well, what can they do?
Well, they have to get help from the commission somewhere. We got to find a way.
I think they're
These guys-
smarter now, though, than
I met a guy in the
collectively.
airport today who was only a sparring partner, and he can't remember. He tells me, I can't remember. I said, well, you got to get a brain scan. You got to go to the commission. Do you have health insurance? He says, yeah. I got to help. I'm helping this guy I just met today about how to manage himself to get going. There's no. We're not promised tomorrow.
Nobody
We're
is.
here today.
Right.
And it's great to be here with you guys today. But there are people who struggle that we need to address too. And the fights are very good. I like what I say to Sheik. You say no. What is he?
You know, it's Turkey a la Sheik.
Yeah.
But you always call him the Sheik.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Hey,
His Excellency.
Yeah.
He could say His Excellency.
Anyway, he's doing a great thing.
He,
All right.
you know,
Now,
as long
when
as he
does that
keeps it
tighten
up. As long as he
when you
keep-
get when you get the who's the guy from UFC?
Dana White.
Dana White.
Well, you guys know how I
They're
feel
gonna
about
fight.
Zuffa boxing. You know, I personally think that, you know, that's going to be our answer for all these things you're saying you want. It's going to take 5 years, 4 years from now.
Yeah, but I mean, when does the
Probably,
money
yeah.
stop rolling out? The millions and millions of dollars that they're giving out.
Well, when that stops,
Yeah.
the boxing stops because they don't call it prize fighting for nothing. And I think as long as there's a steady stream of money to be made, they'll go to it.
I love these guys. They got a young kid here right now who hasn't had any fights yet, but he's been training for a while. I get to work with them. I get to show him some of the skills that you need to not get hit. And he's a handsome kid, so we help each other, and we help each other. I was talking when I was eating earlier about I go in prisons and speak to the guys and talk to them about, you know, what are you going to do? You got to change. Are you trying to give me the hook?
No. I'm trying.
It's a beautiful thing.
No.
I got this guy in my corner. He's showing me the ropes. He's a very busy guy.
Randy, I got a question for you. Some of the points that Jerry's making, do you think that there's a lack of quality trainers out there today?
Oh, absolutely.
And do you think if somehow there could be some kind of requirement with these commissions? I mean, we were talking today at lunch about all it
Spend
takes.
$30.
All it takes is $50, and poof, you're a trainer. You got the cornerman's license. Do you think that commissions should require some type of training for trainers to at least show that they know
Should
what
be
they're
part of
doing?
the act.
Unfortunately, there's only 2 or 3 or 4 strong commissions. You get other commissions, and I hate to point out a lot of commissions down in Tennessee, what they will allow to get into the ring.
Yes.
You know, so forget it. They're not going to have any kind of teeth to make people go to some kind of training school. The trainers through boxing have been there. You know, they've been in the gyms. That's how boxing has been. You don't just walk into a school and become a boxing trainer. You either want the sport, you learn the sport, you carry the buckets in the beginning, you watch other old-timers, and you pay your dues like in any other business.
Yeah, but
and then they
you
start
also-
letting you hold the mitts and work the corners a little bit. That's how you do it.
We also got to pat the guys on the back that have the skills, that are promoting it. Is it the higher number? No, but they're out there, and we get to watch those guys too.
See, what you're talking about is when boxing was a trade. And the kid that starts out, walks into the gym, he's cleaning up, whatever. Trainer shows him a few things. He fights an amateur for several years. He turns pro, however his career comes, and then he goes back to the gym as a trainer or a manager or a promoter. He's a boxing person in the boxing business.
Well, you got to imagine,
but we don't have
9% of fighters end up broke.
No, but my point is we today, you want to get in the boxing business, you know what you need? A checkbook with money in it. That's it. And until that changes, you're not going to have good, better trainers the way we had it back in the day.
I think they're out there. I think that they're developing. They're going to be magical. Like everything else in life, God puts those people in our lives, helps us direct us in the right way.
I hope you're right.
And I hope I'm right, too.
Yeah, no, I hope you're right.
Love to see it happen.
Me too. The sport needs it.
I want you. That's what I want.
I know.
I want two with you, bro.
It's just like we need it. We need the sport. And that's why I was telling you guys when I was on your show recently why I think the UK carries boxing on their back.
The United Kingdom, they love their boxing.
Yeah, they support them.
Every week, they got shows all over the UK. They're packing the places because it's on a lot of the TV networks over there.
And they develop them.
The fighters are active.
They fight each other. They draw. Their fans don't bail on them if they lose.
Well, we used to have that here.
You're proving my point. Yes.
We got to have hope.
But a lot of younger fans today bail on their fighter once they lose. Oh, he was exposed. How many times have you heard that?
I don't know that. I don't believe that. I don't think you just quit on your guy because he lost a fight.
I don't.
I don't want you my fan anyway if you're going to be doing that. You know what I mean?
It happens, brother.
You got to have hope.
It happens.
Have you done that? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No, I stay with my guy.
No.
I'm talking about what I have seen. Well, people, they're very, very quick to say the word, he was exposed.
But, there's also fighters, they don't have that drive to take it past the endurance, the trouble. They don't have it.
Not in this country. The ones you see have it are coming from more impoverished places. I mean, that's been the history of the sport.
That's how we used to be here.
And I think.
Go in Gleason's gym, Duran, Leonard, you name it, they were all there.
Right.
On 30th Street and 8th Avenue, it shut down.
Right.
Now he's in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn now.
Silverglade, but it's just out of the way. It's not the front stage anymore.
Hey, the big fights are out there. I mean, next 2 weeks is going to be a big fight in New York at the Barclays Center. Xander Zayas is taking on Boots Ennis.
I love that fight.
It's a terrific match.
Who do you like in that fight?
I'm gonna go with Xander Zayas.
Me too. I like
Xander Zayas is bigger framed.
I don't think Boots has fought a guy of his
That's
caliber.
how I'm looking at it.
And he's overpowered his level of opposition.
And I don't see him doing that to Xander.
And a lot of reasons why.
You know what you're talking about, Randy. Wait, you think Boots?
A lot of reasons why he didn't. Nobody wanted to fight him because they didn't know how good he was.
Who, Boots?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Story, they ducked him, just like they do with everybody else. They duck him.
Is that what he told you?
No, he didn't tell me. I watch him. I'm a trained boxing analyst. I know what I'm talking about.
He signed the waitress today.
We've taught him well.
Yeah, it's good. So you're a keynote speaker tomorrow.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to go work on it tonight.
What are you going to talk about? You can give us a little hint.
You
going to give us a little hint?
Bro.
No hints.
Talk about boxing and talk about the love I have for the sport.
Good deal.
And my life.
It's a good
All
deal.
the struggles we go through and we get dropped and we got to get up and dust off our pants and move on. Those are the great things.
One of the things we're missing in the sport of boxing is characters. people with personalities like you. No. I mean
I love my life. I love everybody.
But I mean that sincerely. You know, I don't think we have that. It's more business oriented. You know, but anyway.
And Nick, he's always got to wait for me for half an hour, right?
You know, everything has died in my headset.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
No, we hear you fine.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah,
We're hearing you fine. But
got to get the electricians up there. Pay the bills.
He might be telling me the next guest is ready.
And listen, God bless Steve Canton for all he's done.
Oh no, Steve's been great.
And let me tell you, talking boxing, you've taken this over how many, 20 years or whatever?
Who's counting? But 23. We're going on 24.
You do a great job.
I appreciate that.
You really do, and the fight fans are lucky to have somebody like you.
Well,
I think we get the hook now. We get the
yeah, no,
I get
that's
it.
what's happening. Yeah,
But got to tell him what a great job he did.
He's doing great. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, Feathers. Joining us, both Florida guys. China Smith is a 2026 Florida Boxing Hall of Famer. Guys, welcome. I appreciate you joining us.
I appreciate it, man. I'm excited about being here. It's just an honor, man. What can I say? We'll get it together.
China, I'm sorry. I got Chelo over here. You know, it's
China.
Like, you know, all right. Finally, you okay?
I'm here.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, China Smith. What does it mean to you for getting in the Hall of Fame, especially after your career?
It's amazing when you put the work in, your dedication, your life, and you're done, you retire, and you're going about your life, moving on, doing what you do, mentor, coaching, training, teaching, and then you get the call. And after so many years, it's just amazing. It's an honor because you're like, wow. And you're with so many legends that came before you that's with you now. You look around, you name them. And it's just a true honor to be announced, to be among with these guys. And so what can I say is a true blessing. And this teaches me spiritually, God, man, he may not come when you call, but he's always on time. And what a perfect time for me this year, what I went through. And like I said, with my book launching, all the things are starting to come together as it is now. So it's huge accolades.
Well, fill me in on what you've been doing since you retired, because it's been what? How long has it been?
Almost 8 years, 9 years, something like that. Yeah, it's been a while.
I think it's been longer than that.
Might have been a decade. Yeah, it's 14. Yeah,
I think it's been longer than that.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I was retired 6.5. And I came back.
You did.
Yeah. I
did.
came back and fought a few fights, and then I went to retire because the last fight, didn't go to well. I won it, but I knew it was something bigger. I knew it was a bigger call. So I've been, coaching, teaching. Now I'm a life coach, a mentor, motivating speaking, where I can take my life experience and I use spiritually what I've been through and teach people, either have an opportunity to look at the cup half full or half empty. It's your choice. So once you're able to change the mindset of what you're going through, not that you're not going to go through it, just give you a better outlook, a better understanding how to overcome certain situations. It's like people say, man, I'm having a bad day. Well, it's 24 hours in 24 hours a day. Are you having a bad day or are you having a bad moment? And once you look at it, again, from a different perspective, I'm having a bad 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Don't allow 30 minutes, an hour ruin your whole day. So I just learned through boxing or just life in general to look at things not really that bad. It's bad or could be bad, but it could always be a lot worse. The fact that I woke up this morning, the fact that I'm still here, praise God, man, it's another fighting chance. And the fighters that's in me, the champions in me, will allow me to overcome any and all things I'm going through.
Chelo, you know a little about that, overcoming some negativity and downs in life and climbing up. Tell us about that.
I mean, I agree with him 100%, and just to make it clear, I fought under China Smith's undercard and Michael Goldrush that are being inducted at the moment, and we were just talking about that for a while now. It's a blessing that I was inducted in 2024, and I'm a board member for the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, and I have the honor and the privilege to induct two human beings that I looked up to in the Tampa Bay area when it came to Florida boxing, to be here at this moment, even to be next to China Smith, to acknowledge him and appreciate him for what he's done in the sport of boxing, and for me to say, hey, you know, I fought under China Smith. I fought under Michael Gold Rush. That's a blessing to me, because if you mentioned China Smith, you mentioned Michael Gold Rush, and you didn't know who they were, then you didn't know boxing in the Tampa Bay area. 100%.
Two Florida guys. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's just how I feel. And overcoming and everything that he spoke about is just, it's just what you believe in.
Well, I know firsthand how China's community embraced him and how much they loved him. And does that put added pressure on you? And I know you have a strong fan base too, but does that put added pressure on during fight time?
Well, for me, it didn't, because once I'm in that zone, I don't see anybody. I'm locked in. But I would tell you that fight that we experienced together, I didn't realize how much pressure I had. I didn't realize what I tried to accomplish, and I did to a certain degree, because I was really trying to build a community and still trying to build a community, put the fights with other people, and then once I had to let go, certain things got a lot out of hand that I didn't have the time or could take interest in. But again, even with that, the mission was completed. What I set out to do was done, and it has never been done before. And so it was pressure, but it was worth the pressure.
Yeah.
Worth the pressure. Yes.
I know you've been in pressure situations, my man Chelo, and you've turned it around all into positives.
At the end of the day, everything that I've done to the positive, it's what I try to tell people. For me, I don't care what everybody else is dealing with negativity, because I don't have control of what the negativity is. I have control of what my negativity is in order for me to continue to be positive, right?
Absolutely.
And that's how I've continued to grow in life. And but as I sit here at this moment, it's not about that. It's about this man right here. And this is, what I've done in my career. And if I compare it to China Smith, I'm humble enough to say he's done so much in the sport of boxing. And for me to be part of this history in our perspective, even with you, Billy C., what we've been through, that's a blessing in its own. Because I fought under their undercard, Michael Gold Rush, and then I did what I needed to do to become who I've become in boxing, right? But they paved the way.
So let me ask you, we had Gerry Cooney on here before, and I was asking him and Randy Gordon about what their opinions were with the state of the sport is right now. Now, you guys, are removed from the sport, but much sooner in time, more recently. What's your opinion on how it is? Do you see any differences from when you guys fought, or, pros, cons? What's your thoughts?
I do. I see a lot.
Like what?
I see that fighters pick and choose. You have fighters that have strong promotion companies that are guiding them, but yet they don't want to fight who they need to fight. I could tell you, me and China Smith, and let me know if I'm wrong, but we didn't have a choice.
No.
We didn't have a choice. We had to fight whoever we had to fight, whether they were good or bad. Is just, and Billy C., because we've spoken about that, and you've given me respect for it. It's what it is. I have Don Khan, my trainer. He's around here somewhere. He flat out told me, whoever we got to fight, because it's just what it was.
So you think that it's changed that quick?
I 100%, I believe so.
It changed. Well, here's the thing. He's absolutely right. When you fought, as I'd ask questions. Whoever you lined me up in front of, I didn't even watch tape. I didn't really care. As long as he walked like I walk, put his shoes on 1 foot at a time, let's fight, right? But now it's so much substitution, so much question. Now people want to dictate who they fight, pick and choose, and go around and skate around, right? And so now it's more of the fighters are getting more into the business side or trying to be their own promoter, their own manager, was diluting a lot of different things now. Because now you can, I'm going to fight you, but I'm going to fight you a little later, pick and choose and skate your way to it. And then now with the social media or how things are, you can come here the next couple of days, next couple fight, now you're up here. You didn't really do anything. You just picked and choose the right situation. Right?
Correct.
So, as Chelo was saying, it's good and bad because as a fighter, we're fighters. We fight. But as a promoter or want to get the accolades or get the money, you just fight whoever, fight whatever. So it's kind of set up design.
Well, you mentioned something about social media. Do you think social media plays an important part in the promotion of fighters today? Well, a lot of them are self-promoting. Basically, promoters aren't promoting anymore. The
Right.
fighters promoting for themselves.
Right. And what I've noticed, and I'm gonna say, China, correct me if I'm wrong, because we're both fighters, or we were fighters. We were still 100%. You have these fighters that are pretty much create a social media presence that they don't need a promoter. I mean, I could sit here and name fighters, but I'm not going to do that. But
I'll name one.
Go ahead.
Ryan Garcia.
100%. And he's
Garcia.
great at what he's doing. You know, so isn't it funny what he just brought? We were just talking about is China Smith, Michael Gorush, Chelo Alonzo, sold out. Every single time we fought locally in the Tampa Bay area. Would you agree or disagree?
I agree.
We didn't have social media. Can you imagine if we had social media, what us three would do?
You know, it's actually an interesting question, and the reason why is because a lot of fighters. I know Mark Allen Baker's here. He's going to be coming on, and he's in an area where, in my opinion, one of the last grassroots promoters still promotes, and that's Jimmy Birchfield. And he's still going and selling tickets and making his money from asses in seats,
Right.
and his sponsors that come back, and you know about that. I think boxing needs more of those promoters, and I just don't think they're out there.
Well, it's right. I think it's hard. It's challenging now because of the quick overnight success. Not only the quick overnight success from fighting, but the quick overnight success by celebrity. And certain celebrity people came into the boxing industry and took it from here to here because of the following, the fan base, and certain things where we get certain fights and certain things, recognition that, wow, if they can do it, why not? Why wouldn't I want to do it? Why would I not follow that game path or that path? Because that's a quicker way to success, the quicker way to a financial situation where we had to go up, we had to fight, we had to study, we had to train, we was out 6 months to 2 years to work on your thing. Now you can do it overnight. I mean, we're literally like 2 or 3 months and game change.
But they don't fight. They're fighting less.
Yeah.
They're fighting less.
Correct. So, again, I'm going to say it with China. When we fought, there was nothing. Billy, we've talked about it when you interviewed me the beginning of my career.
The skinny version.
Yeah, the skinny version. You gave me props because you looked at my record. You're a boxing historian. I fought whoever I had to fight. At the end of the day, I had no choice. I'm not going to fight him. At that point, who was I to say, who am I going to fight? What am I going to do?
Right.
You didn't have that.
No.
We just had to fight so that you could become China Smith, so I could become Jose Chelo Man Alonzo. And all Duncan told me is, you fight whoever you got to fight. I didn't have no say-so.
Now 4-round fights dictate who they fight.
It's crazy.
And then I'm asking you, why aren't there any small promoters anymore? Because they can't afford to be.
It costs too much. It's too many headaches to be negotiating 3 hours for a 4-round fight.
Okay, so after talking about all of that, we really wonder why we don't have boxing the way it should be. If you don't have the small promoter promoting local fighters first,
the big fighters,
right?
right.
Local fighters have to get a following,
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
People,
Right.
and then you move. I mean, back in the day, you had fighters that made a career from town to town.
Right.
And then, they would work their way up and fight, New York against Chicago or something like that. We don't have any of that today.
Nope.
Not
Nope.
here.
Nope.
I think if somehow that could work, if somebody did that, I think boxing would be mainstream sports again.
I'll give you a perfect example. I just met Lou DiBella, and actually
That's
I
right.
met him before, but Lou DiBella, I met him today, shook his hand, and like you said, I worked my way up to fight in another state. I fought in Chicago, I fought Lamar Russ, and I lost. But I fought. I did everything I had to do, and I was in Carolina, Carolina, Puerto Rico with Don Gang training, and fights fell out. I'm going to fight. No, this fight is not going to fight. Then Lamar Russ was undefeated. I was undefeated. You know how it is. When it's undefeated, nobody wants to fight you because you're undefeated.
Right.
Doesn't matter who you fought. It's just mentality is going to say, hey, I'm not going to fight. So this guy was undefeated. I come from nothing. So I want to become something. I'll fight this fighter.
Well,
and I lost.
Well, at that
You know?
time, Lamar Russ was on his way up. He was known for a power puncher, and you're right. Nobody wanted to fight him after that.
Yeah.
Once he won 8 fights in a row, I think his first 8 fights were all knockouts, right?
Yeah, and for me, and I look back at that fight, and I fought him, and like we spoke a little bit earlier, it was like, oh, I'm a fighter. Let me don't stop the fight. You stop the fight. How many fights have you seen that should have been stopped but are not stopped? And then fights that shouldn't be stopped are stopped. That's what happened to me, man.
Well,
and I hurt him a few times, but I mean, that was years ago. I lost the fight. No excuse. It is what it is. But what I'm trying to say is that for me, that was fighting. And I did what I needed to do. You did what you needed to do. Fighting is different now.
Referees, they're in a tough spot. Do they stop the fight too soon? They get criticized if they stop the fight too late. They put the fighter in danger. They get criticized. At a certain point, we got to just make sure that we choose those, referees that make the right decision. And it's better to stop a fight a little too soon than too late.
And based on that, I was at the.
Listen, we all want to see the fight go, but
Right.
let's protect the fighters.
So I was at the IBF convention a few years back in New Jersey, and I spoke to an individual and spoke about the Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti fight, and the referee that was there, somebody knew the referee, but the referee knew both fighters. Knew exactly how he fought, and understood the dynamic of what was happening. That referee, in my personal perspective, me watching it, I wasn't there, I was still young. Watching that fight, that referee that fight the way it was supposed to create the classic history of one of the best fights in boxing history.
Listen, I was talking about this.
Would you agree, or
you
know what I mean?
We were talking about this before. The best referees, in my opinion, are the ones you don't remember who refereed, because then it's not fighter A versus fighter B featuring referee so and so.
Right.
No, he's there to protect the fighters.
Correct.
Make sure
That's
they follow the rules,
Yep.
and that's the end of that. I mean, that's my opinion. There's too many referees out there today that want camera time. They get in there, don't even let the fighters fight.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that doesn't help. But yeah, look, I think in a nutshell, I agree that boxing has changed, and it seems to have changed pretty rapidly. But I do think we still have the potential of resurrecting it if the fighters themselves followed suit the way it seems like we are getting now.
It definitely be resurrected, like you said, with the right following the suit. But it has to start with the fighters, like you said, back in the day, the smaller fighters working their way up to the big fights. And then we need a little more promoters working together. But
100%.
yeah.
To earn your way.
No, I'm
you
with
got to earn your way.
No.
Like, we can look at all these fighters that have accomplished so much, but correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of them, did they earn their way? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, even though they fought, but you now these days, the truth is the truth. People are going to pick who they want to fight.
Right, it's hard. Well, the fighters coming, we came and earned their ways. These fighters now, they have more options.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
Listen,
I don't want to do this, guy.
All you got to do is look at the boxing lines. When you see fighter A versus fighter B, and you're laying $2,500 to win 100, and the other guy is plus 2,000.
Correct.
Who do you think's going to win?
Correct.
You know, and that's the kind of fights we see these days.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, we have been seeing some great matchups, and we got like we were talking to Gerry and Randy before. You know, we got some good fights coming up. Next weekend is a good fight. Bam Rodriguez fighting, and then you know, several good fights down the road. You know, we just saw a great heavyweight fight. You know, so I mean, they are out there.
No, they're good. They're out there. It's just.
It's the road to those fights.
It's the road to those fights. You
Right.
hit the nail on the head. There's no other way to say it's the road to those fights. So,
Well, fellas, I appreciate you coming on. I can't wait to watch you get inducted tomorrow.
Thank you.
And you're going to love it. Trust me.
already-
I lived it. Yeah.
I'm loving every bit of it.
and I'm grateful that I'm going to watch him get inducted, man. When this is somebody that I was under his car, that's China Smith. You know what I'm saying? So winning titles and me growing up and somebody that I looked up to, and now here I am as a Florida Boxing Hall of Fame board member, inducting someone that I looked up to as I was creating my legacy.
Looking forward to it tomorrow, fellas.
Thank you.
Now we're joined with Lou DiBella. Lou, first of all, congratulations, Florida Boxing Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Thank you. I haven't been seen that much lately.
Yeah,
actually.
no. Well, let's talk about what's your thoughts. First of all, what's your thoughts on getting into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame?
I'm very, very honored, you know. It's my 7th Hall of Fame, honestly. But I thought it was very important to be here, and I think that weekends like this, the way the sport is changing, are becoming more and more important. It's that the history of the sport is getting lost in the shuffle. And the boxing that I grew up in, that created who I am, that allowed me to be who I am, that allowed me to buy 2 baseball teams, that allowed me to have the career I've had, I don't know that it exists anymore. It's so different. And, you know, it's funny because when I got in, Steve called me and he said, you know, Lou, you're going to get in, but you got to promise me you're coming. I said, Steve, I will be there no matter what. I will be there. I'm actually leaving for Italy on Monday. I moved my trip around. I made sure I could come here because I think more than ever it's important that boxing people recognize other boxing people, that the sport that the people here, the sport that the people who are celebrating this weekend grew up in and watched and love. So many of the people that are guys that run gyms, like Steve, who runs this Hall of Fame, but Steve, who's run a boxing gym forever, who's one of the good guys. When I come back to St. Pete, I remember an old friend of mine who's deceased, the great Ben Getty, who had a gym here in Tampa. These are the guys that raised me in the sport. That's how I learned boxing. And, you know, my boxing life started as a 5, 6-year-old kid watching Nino Benvenuti on TV with my grandfathers. And then when I first saw Muhammad Ali, like as a 6-year-old kid, I said, "Who is like the guy was so good-looking and well-spoken," and I was like in love, and like that was my first hero, and I picked the right hero.
You certainly did.
I picked the right hero, and that really is what started my life in boxing. But the boxing I see today, man, I don't have the same love for. I have the same love for a lot of the fighters, but a lot of the fighters don't have the same mentality of the guys I promoted and I was used to. Fighters fight once or twice a year. Fighters sit back and call each other out, motherfuck one another, say horrible things constantly, out there shitting on each other. But are they out there fighting 3-4 times a year? No. Are they calling out the best? No. Like and then you got to subscribe to 17 different places at exorbitant amounts of money to watch the fights. You used to get on HBO, Showtime, ESPN, and everywhere else. But you know what? We're responsible. The guys like me. Like hey, I mean, I can't sit there and point to other people. I was one of the top promoters in this business since I left HBO in 2000 for 25 years. But you know what? We left the sport a fucking shit show, and we didn't treat boxing like a television property. We didn't work together appropriately. We didn't create a television product that had a bunch of businessmen working in unison to sell something to the networks and the streaming services that they really wanted. And we opened the door for bullshit. We opened the door for nonsense. We opened the door for Jake Paul. We opened the door for an MMA guy to get off to fight a boxer and then have the best heavyweights in the world like Usyk and Fury look like dog shit because they didn't prepare 5 seconds, got off their couches and got into the ring with a fucking great, with a guy. Look, that guy, that kickboxer that just.
Rico Van Hooven?
Dude, he gave fucking Usyk hell.
I know.
They shouldn't have stopped that fight. By the way, he probably would have lost anyway. But you know what? The kid's not a boxer. He sucks. He's a mediocre boxer. You know what he is? A fighter. The kickboxer was a real fighter. And if you're going to get off your couch and you're going to fight a bigger man who's a real fighter, who has a fighting spirit, who knows how to stand up and throw punches, yes, he's a kickboxer, but that man knows how to fight. He knows the mentality of fighting.
Yeah, but Lou, you know what I said about him, and you know why I think he gave Usyk so much trouble?
What?
Is he did something that fighters don't do today.
What?
Move his head.
Well, no. First of all, the kid was impressive for a guy that's really not a fighter.
And I think he was winning that fight.
Well, it was damn close. No, he was winning the fight.
He was winning the fight
easily.
easily.
The tide was turning. He was winning the fight, and I think he might have gotten stopped in the next round.
I don't dispute that. He should have got the chance.
Dude, he was winning.
Right.
He was winning
100%.
the fight. And I love Usyk. He's a great fucking fighter. That was a disgrace the same way Tyson Fury was a disgrace against Ngannou. Neither one of them trained. Neither one of them took it seriously. They both took the Saudi Arabian money. I don't call anyone but Jesus Christ or God Almighty His Excellency. Sorry.
No,
I'm not calling anybody His Excellency. Bro.
Listen,
I'll leave the sport before I start calling someone His Excellency.
So you made a point, all right? And my question is, as far as promoters go, okay?
Yeah.
You had to promote. Just like I mentioned, Jimmy Birchfield. You guys actually promoted.
The guys taking money from Turkey aren't promoting. They're just
but the fighters are promoting themselves through social media.
Who's? Come on, who? How many of them are?
Ryan Garcia.
Okay, that's one. And by the way, he deserves to make the money he's making because
of that.
As much of a mess as he's been at times. I actually love Ryan.
I do,
We
too.
don't talk right now because he got pissed off at me because when he went off the rails, I criticized him. But I really think he's a good kid. I think he's very talented. Very talented. But you know what? He does understand building a following is everything.
Everything.
You don't have to be loved. You have to have people care about you. If they hate you, it can be as powerful as them loving you for your ability to make money. A lot of people back when, people forget this. A lot of people hated Ali. People forget Mayweather. Probably more people hated Mayweather than loved him.
I agree with that.
Right? But you know what? They wanted to watch him. They knew how damn good he was. And a lot of times they watched him to hope he was lose. He didn't lose because he was too good.
100%.
If Nassim Hamed, I happen to love him. Other people hated him. But he made more money than
best ring entrance on the carpet.
One of the greatest entertainers in the last 50 years in boxing. He was an entertainer. He got it. Other guys back when were social media influencers before there was social media.
Right.
Why do you think Rocky Graziano was a star? There were a lot of guys who were stars for
Hector
being
Camacho.
warriors. Hector Camacho, for being so colorful, for being characters. Boxing always had a lot of characters. It also always had a lot of bad guys too. I mean, there were good guys, there were bad guys. There were always. Back when there were more good guys than bad guys, I'm not sure that's the case anymore. I probably would argue right now that there might be more bad guys than good guys. There are more good guys around a weekend like this because the people that are actually running gyms, that are running programs for kids, that are keeping kids away from drugs in the streets, those are the angels of boxing. The motherfuckers that run the business of boxing suck.
They don't know they're not boxing people.
No, they would argue they are, and they're where the money is. And there are people blowing them right now. There are people calling a guy that honestly do the research on Turkey Al Sheikh, and you're going to see a lot of things you don't love. And by the way, it's not his fault. He sees an opening. He's a fan. He has more money than God.
Right.
He's coming in because we left the sport of shambles, and it opened the door for him, and it opened the door for Dana White. You think Dana White loves our sport? You think Dana White really understands our sport? But you know what, man? I'm not going to down Dana White. He's a good businessman. He's run UFC's a tremendous MMA promotion. the laws just changed because his best friend's sitting in the White House, and they laid out a red carpet that's longer than that red carpet on the floor right now. They laid out a red carpet for UFC that they're going to have an easy path to dominating boxing in this country. You know, right now, there's no boxing on HBO. I mean, man, it makes me cry that there's no boxing on HBO, no boxing on Showtime, no boxing, no real boxing. I mean, there's some women's boxing now occasionally on ESPN, but ESPN's not spending real money in boxing any longer. And it sort of breaks my heart because I ain't subscribing to DAZN. I don't give a shit about fights out of England. And I'm not going to keep spending big money and then big money to subscribe to something that is, for an average person, expensive, and they still bang you for big events. And if you want to see, like, their best fights, you have to pay separately for those, and you're paying like $600-700 a year or some crazy number. But I mean, like, I don't even have DAZN.
But, well, I one thing before we let you go, baseball.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. Two teams.
Baseball's been I had my heroes when I was 5 and 6, 7, 8, 10 years old were Muhammad Ali, Tom Seaver, Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente.
Oh, so you're a Mets fan?
I'm a Mets fan. I was a Willie Mays fan, a big Roberto Clemente fan. But baseball and boxing have been my whole life. Like, they've been, in terms of sports, like, they were the sports I loved. So I always wanted to get it. But what people in boxing don't realize is I've had multiple careers for almost 25 years. Like, I've been investing in baseball teams since 2000. So I'm not, like, it's not a new thing to me. I'm 25 years in. Like, people thinking I left boxing again. No, I was in boxing. I was in baseball. I ran my course in boxing. I did everything I could do.
I never knew you had the teams. I just recently found out, like 2 years ago.
Right now, I'm the managing partner and the president of one of the most successful teams in all of minor league baseball, the Richmond Flying Squirrels. We average almost 7,000 people a night in attendance. That's 71 times a year.
That's beautiful.
Right, so 500,000 people come into my baseball games, you know, every year. So it's I love baseball, and I love minor league baseball. I love being able to offer a fun experience to families that's affordable. You know, politics. There's politics in everything. And I had to build a ballpark in Richmond. I just built a $130 million ballpark. You should come to Richmond and check it out. I'll give you.
I definitely.
You come in and get a group from the Florida Hall of Fame, and I'll give you the owner's box one day. Come in as my guest. You fly, go down there and check it out. Also, Richmond's a great town, but great town. I love baseball. I love our fans. I love the people of Richmond. But dealing with politicians, I'd rather deal with Don King.
Well, listen, I'm going to talk to you more about baseball because I got something to talk to you about that. Yeah. But I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
And,
tomorrow, the Hall of Fame called me. They said, "What do you want as your walkout song?" I said, "Take me out to the ball game."
There you go.
Did you really?
Fantastic. I did. That's exactly what I said. Good to see you, bro.
Yeah,
I'll see you over the weekend.
Yeah,
I'm going to go watch the Knicks game. Let's go, Knicks. Go, New York. Go, New York. Go.
Well, joining me here right now is a great author, Mark Allen Baker. How you doing, Mark? Glad you can join me. You've written many, many books. I know my favorite so far is the Lou Ambers book, but you have a new one out. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've got a new excellent book for so many historians and fans, a book on the great promoter, great boxing manager, and great promoter and great Broadway producer, a gentleman by the name of William A. Brady, who used to, believe it or not, and it's hard to believe, manage 2 undisputed heavyweights in the early days. The first being James J. Corbett and the second being Jim Jeffries. But we were talking about it earlier that so often boxing fans really want to get multiple perspectives. And this one's going to provide that because when we look at figures like Ali, you know, if I'm a big fan of Ali, I'm going to go back. I'm going to read Ferdy's book. I'm going to read Bundini's book. I'm going to go right down the list and Angelo's books, all of them, to get a better perspective of Muhammad Ali. William A. Brady paints a new picture for so many boxing fans of the early days of boxing because he was there. He was at the guts of it. He tells you the psychological warfare that he was promoting with his fighters. I mean, he took Corbett to the top, and then he took Jeffries to the top, and it's just a fantastic introduction into the heavyweight scene in the early days. And then this gentleman goes from jumping from boxing all the way to Broadway, and he just dominates Broadway during the times of Ziegfeld, and David Belasco and all these great theatrical greats. And then he discovers talent. And not only did he have an eye for talent in boxing, but he had an eye for it in theater. So he discovers the Barrymores, and all of a sudden he goes all the way down the line and manages some of the greats of the stage, from Helen Hayes to discovering Humphrey Bogart. And that's a good story, and all those are covered in the book. And this is a man who started with virtually nothing, and I mean was born during 1863 during the Civil War, basically rode a train east, lost his father. I mean, it's an incredible story. I mean, it's a movie, and for me, it's a transition because I move a little out of boxing and more into theater, not out of boredom, but because I'm realizing there's people around boxing and that had their hands in it for a while and made really a great contribution, and that's what Brady did. And
What was his secret? If he could go across all the different
perseverance. I mean, it's just incredible what this man goes through. But his perseverance, and he had an eye for talent. He had an eye for talent.
Yeah, but my point is, like, he had an eye for talent, for boxers, for actors, for theater. You know, I mean, what was his
well,
secret?
he picked up on it as a youth. He used to sneak into theaters and to see plays, and he used to sneak into boxing matches to see boxing matches, and he just is an interesting parallel between how he loved boxing and he loved the theater, and the two really don't fit because he got embarrassed after a while. He's promoting all these great heavyweights, making tons of money way before Rickard, and all of a sudden he starts realizing, well, the clientele I'm reaching may not be the clientele that's gonna think highly of boxing, so maybe I'll move to the theater, get a better audience, a better clientele, a little more money. But then after a while, realizes the two really work because all the first people buying tickets to all of his boxing matches were all the city gentry in New York City saying, "Hey, can you give me the good seats?"
But weren't, back in those days, especially Jeffries and Corbett, when they were a champion, they made most of their money touring, doing these acts.
Absolutely.
So was he part of that too?
Oh, absolutely, and no question about it. In fact, I do a whole section. James J. Corbett played professional baseball, and I listened to DiBella talk about baseball. Well, there is some parallels there, and a lot more than he even mentioned. But in the old days, Corbett would play on multiple teams, sometimes a few games on one. He played in Hartford. He played on a team in Hartford. I think he played probably 15
while he was fighting.
While he was fighting, and in the old days, you could pay. Brady would go in and say, "Corbett wants to play. Can you put him on first base?" And that's the way it worked back then. You could actually pay a player to go on. I didn't know that until I started doing the research and realized, what do you mean? You can take the heavyweight champion and put him on first base right.
As long as he paid the team?
Yeah, he paid the team to do it. And so you get a little perspective into James J. Corbett's baseball ability.
That's wild.
And then he started buying teams, like Lou. He started buying baseball teams. He bought one of the Rochester teams. It wasn't the Red Wings then, but he bought a Rochester team and still always liked it. But then he gets into other areas. He actually started promoting professional cycling, because in the old days, Madison Square Garden had what was called a velodrome, and the old tilted tracks and stuff.
Like roller derby.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really big, and so he started promoting racers. And one of the great racers was a gentleman by the name of Major Taylor. And he started promoting him, and then he started promoting other figures in other areas, including when they first landed on, a lot of explorers, for example. I won't go into too much detail. And wrestlers. He started promoting some wrestlers, too. But it's an interesting book, and I had so much fun writing it, and it was a little bit of a movement to a different market for me, sort of, but I had the boxing confidence, obviously, and I knew enough about the early days of boxing to really get into Brady and see what he could add to it. And I found perspectives like you wouldn't believe on how he psyched out Fitzsimmons with Jeffries, and I get into so much detail that I've never seen covered in any books.
No.
So that's my new one, but that just follows the Jack Dillon book, which I
that was cool too. What's the total count to this book?
Over 30 books, and boxing, I think 12 or 14 on boxing, but
I don't know how you
over
do it.
30 books.
And they're always so good too.
Well, thank you very much. You happen to appreciate it, and you've got a lot of. I mean, I write in it kind of. The good thing now is that boxing fans and everybody who's talked here tonight has spoken about it. Is the boxing fans are far more educated now than they've ever been.
Well, the information's at your
Information is at, and the appreciation for the old time boxers is there. That's why when you, naturally bad guys, and DiBella hit his point right on the head. If you look bestsellers in boxing, and Amazon charts every boxing book there is. So if you look at the top 10, it's the bad guys.
Right.
You know, it's Tyson or it's Ali. It's the controversial figures, but characters that sell books. But the good thing is, as you go down the chart a little bit further, all of a sudden you start picking up names like, Henry Armstrong or Leo Houck or, names that have drifted in and fallen between the cracks, or one of mine that pops up, or like an Ambers, or naturally Willie Pep's going to pop up every once in a while, but it's the figure. I like the figures no one's heard about but are great stories.
No, I'm with you. How can we get your book?
Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com has all those, all my books, and it's been so much fun, and I love the sport, and I love everybody around it, and I can't think. It's such an honor being here.
Well,
with all these people.
congratulations.
All the volunteers.
Congratulations
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
induction. And I look forward to it tomorrow. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you very much.
All right, my man. Jasmine, thanks for joining us.
Of course, thanks for having me.
WBA champion.
WBA
right?
World Champion.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yes, so
When
I
did you win
won.
that?
I won the title back in March of 2025, and since then, I defended my title twice, and we're coming up on the third world title defense weekend.
Oh, cool. Cool. Who are you fighting?
I'm fighting Natalie Delgado. She's my mandatory, and she's the interim world champion. She's from Panama, so this is a big thing for her because Panama has not seen a major world champion since Roberto Duran. So this is a huge fight for me, huge fight for her, and it's gonna be a really good.
What do you think? I know this is probably a biased question, but do you think women's boxing is kind of becoming at it? Would you consider it in its peak?
Oh, of course. I think it has a lot more growing to do, but of where it's came over the last, I'm going to say like 10 years, when I first started about 13, 14 years ago, women's boxing really wasn't of existence other than, we knew about Layla Ali and those names, but for it to be on cable TV, it didn't exist. So to see it from when I first began to now, it's a huge difference.
Well, I got to work with Chevelle Halbach, and she, it was like she just missed this this era.
Me and Chevelle actually go way back. When I first started, she was a mentor for me. So, she's
a mentor for everybody.
Of course, and as she fought her last fight, it was kind of a cool story because when she fought her last fight, she looked to me to kind of mentor her and push her for that fight that she fought. So the tables turned, and it was a beautiful camp for her and me as well.
Yeah, she's a unique person at her age. You would never think, right?
Yeah,
And if you spar with her, I mean, she still punches, right?
Yeah, she still has a mean punch. So
Yeah.
she's doing her thing, and I'm always in support of Chevelle. And like I said, coming up, she was a huge mentor for me.
Now, have you taken any of advice that she's learned and incorporated into your own style?
I incorporate things from a lot of different fighters. I actually like to go back and watch the old school fighters, the ones that came before me, because everything's been done before. So there's a blueprint to win every fight. So I take a little things from different fighters.
Let me ask you a question, which people talk to me all the time about with women's boxing. Do you feel it should be 3-minute rounds?
Honestly, I feel like I like 2-minute rounds just because I feel like it gives a quicker pace, and I feel like if you have punching power as I have punching power, I can get the job done in 2 minutes. So I mean, I'm not opposed to 3 minutes, but I'm comfortable with the 2-minute rounds.
One of the things I did like about the 2 minutes was it seemed like kind of what you just said. It just seemed like there was more
Yeah,
action.
it's exciting. It's exciting pace.
You
It's a
can't
quicker
can't
pace.
mess around. If you're
Yeah,
going to win around.
of course.
But there's been some argument about that, and some of the reasons some of the sanctioning bodies give. And a lot of times I get a 50-50 answer on that. But you're right. You know, in a way, you're making more money with the by the minute, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just to me, the pace makes all the difference in the excitement of the fight. And like I said, if you have punching power, you can get the job done. And
Now, how would you, if somebody never saw you fight before, how would you describe your own style?
I would say I'm exciting. You know, I'm gonna bring the excitement. I'm gonna bring the fight. I'm very versatile, so I'm just out there for action. But whatever gets the job done is how I'm gonna fight. God bless me with athletic ability, so with that, I'm able to fight. I'm able to box you. I'm able to brawl you. I have big punch, but I have good feet. So it's just whatever it takes to win the fight.
And one last question I have: do you feel that you can make adjustments on the fly? Because obviously, I mean, you're a world champion, but obviously that's important to be successful moving forward.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I can make adjustments just because, you know, my dad is in my corner and I trust everything he says. And we go through 3 different game plans. So I know if something's not working, we go to whatever is going to work next. So I'm pretty prepared every time I get into that ring.
Well, that's good. Well, listen, good luck in your fight next weekend, right? Is
Yes,
that what you
next
said?
weekend, June 13th in Orlando. It's going to be on ESPN. But if you can make it out to Orlando, even better.
Good luck with that fight. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you for having
coming
me.
on. Joining us right now, we got Sukura. Glad you could be with us.
Thanks. It's great to meet you, Billy.
Yeah. Well, we met last year.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the Boxing Playhouse.
I mean, Boxing Playhouse is great. We're doing what we think that fans need to hear, which is we're trying to excel the boxers today. I mean, everybody looks up to the Alis and the, you know, Tysons. Everybody looks up to the greats of yesterday, but we're here to like acknowledge the fact and advocate for the athletes today that are still putting in the work, grinding, training hard, and just wanting to make it and striving to be an Ali or a Sugar Ray Robinson or someone like that. So that's what our main focus is, but we advocate for women in boxing, and we also want preventative measures for, you know, to prevent brain injuries as well. So all of those things are important to us.
No, that's cool. With all the stuff that we were talking about today, and since you're focusing on fighters, you know, that are
present.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on some of the comments, like about the fighters compared to, you know, fighters of other eras, let's say?
I mean, for other eras, and it's like, you got to remember that those guys were fighting way more often. So they're going to be in more pristine shape. Plus, the training is kind of like more different than what the training of boxers are receiving now. So I'm going to pick the old school boxer against the new school boxer every time.
Well, you know, one thing, yeah, we're going to do a show about that coming up. We'll talk about it another time. But, you know, one of the things you mentioned, fighters did fight more often back in the day, but fighters spar more often today.
I don't know if that's a great thing to do.
I don't disagree.
Right.
Well, theoretically, they're wearing headgear and stuff when they're sparring.
But it's still, most boxers are saying the injuries are coming from the training, not from the actual fight. A lot of people that got severe brain injuries actually might have got concussed with the sparring before the fight even happened. So now you already have a brain situation going on, and then you go into a rough fight. Now you might have a severe injury because you know, it's just like in football when they make them sit out because there's some type of concussion or something. But what we're doing in boxing is you're still getting hit. So if you've gotten really, you know, some severe, I mean, like DC, for instance, they're known for some rough sparring.
Well, Philly's known for some rough sparring
Philly
too.
Too, yeah.
But you know, if you're sparring and you're a fighter and you're in there sparring and you're getting beat up so bad that you're concussed, maybe one of two things should happen. Maybe maybe you should stop fighting.
Okay.
And maybe you should get a better trainer because a trainer will teach you to avoid those shots.
Correct. The defense is a lot of time what's missing today. Nobody is moving their head as much as they did.
I agree with you 100%.
Right. So if somebody is concussed, I heard a lot of trainers be like, "Oh, well, we're not fighting. If they got hurt in training, then we're calling off the fight." No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to miss this payday, you know, because you see your boxing. It's just the way it is. People are not looking out for their boxers. It's like the corners that have the ability to contact or let the referee know they want to stop the fight, but they never do, hardly. Like, and then what happened to Breland, Coach Breland, when he stopped the fight for Wilder versus Fury, too. He got fired for stopping it. So it's a culture that we have in this sport of not wanting to stop a fight if the boxer doesn't want. They want to go out on their shield, obviously. But you're supposed to have a team with you in your corner that knows when, hey, we need to call it so he can fight another day.
So when does the fighter decide that he needs to change a team if he feels that his corner's not, doing the right thing?
Unfortunately, I've heard from a lot of former champions and boxers that they don't find out until they suffer a loss. And then that's when they go to their, locker room or they go back to the hotel. Nobody's there with them. That's when you know that you don't have the right team.
Well, one of the things that I've always said is this. You hear it. You see a trainer and a fighter before a fight, and the trainer's doing all the talking, and he's saying, "We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this." The fighter loses, and the trainer's up there saying, "Well, he didn't do this, and he didn't do that."
What I said to do, yeah.
So if you're a team, you're a team. You're going to win like a team and lose like a team.
Exactly. You got to know that when you lose, then you actually can see who still stays with you, who's still there for you when it's not a fun night, when it's not a celebration.
My last question is, how does that get fixed? How do you think that something like that could be fixed?
Just you and me talking about it right now is helping fix it, isn't it?
Well, then I feel good about that.
I know, Billy. We need to support the boxers now and let them know you have the right to have the right team behind you. And you need to know, is this person going to be with you, ride or die, even when you don't win? And if that's something we need to, because a lot of boxers now don't realize that they're the boss. Like, they're the ones that's making the money, and nobody gets paid if he doesn't fight. So does that make him in control, or the promoter in control, or the trainer in control?
I think today any fighter needs to have a solid team behind him or her.
Absolutely.
I think that's critical, and I agree that fighters are too tough. I mean, corners are too tough for their fighters.
Right.
We watched the heavyweight fight not too long, a couple weeks ago. Fabio Wardley.
Oh, yes, Wardley.
He was staggering.
2 rounds earlier.
2 rounds.
That could have stopped.
Two rounds he came
earlier.
out of the corner staggering, and not only did his corner let him, but the referee.
The referee act like he didn't see it either.
I'm with you.
You know what? Because he's a big puncher. So at any moment, they were thinking that he could turn the fight around and have a big knockout. But that's not always going to be the story.
Did you see how he looked by those?
It was rough.
So it didn't look like he was doing much defense either.
No.
And he's not known for his defense, but
and he also doesn't really have that many fights, does he?
No,
So
and I've
this
been saying that. That's what I've been saying about him. 100%.
Now, a lot of boxers now, instead of having to have 18-0 and these established records, they're giving them world championship fights at 8 to 12, fights. So you're not as experienced.
I'm with you. I can't even argue with you.
So
that's bad.
So you know
good.
I'm right.
No, I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I agree.
You're great.
I think.
I like when people agree with me, guys.
No, I've said this. I've said the same things, but especially on that fight.
Right.
That specific fight, Wardley.
Let's talk Ennis Boots versus
Zayas.
Vander Zayas. Who you got?
I like Zayas in that fight.
You like Zayas?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I like
All
Zayas.
right. Yeah.
I like
okay.
Zayas.
Okay.
And because I don't think
I don't
Boots,
know if the competition. I don't know if maybe I feel like he could have had 2 more fights with 2 of his opponents of fighters that's fought Boots in the past, just so we can see a litmus test.
Who has Boots beat?
I mean, the people he's beat is they're B level fighters. We want to be honest.
That's my point.
But I at least knew some of the fighters, I think. But it's still they're on the downside of their career, right? When they're fighting somebody like a Boots.
Right.
But it's the same thing for Xander in a way.
Well, they're fighting each other, so we're going to see.
Because who has Xander been able to fight? And I love Xander.
No, I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. Well,
Puerto
listen,
Rico versus Philly. That's what that fight.
Yeah, he's from Philly.
Yeah, Puerto Rico versus Philly. So I
Well,
think I'm going to go with Philly.
You're not good with Philly?
I think I'm going to go with Philly.
Oh.
But we'll see.
I'm going against you. I'm going against you with that one.
Perfect. I love it.
Sounds good. Well, he's in my ear telling me
we're
that
ready
that's
to go.
it.
I see,
And
John.
I appreciate everybody joining us, and we're looking forward to all the festivities tomorrow.
All right, and thank everybody
See
for
you
coming
soon.
to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame this year,
There you go.
2026. Congratulations to all the inductees.